Welcome to Navigating Texas Workforce Commission for Musicians, an interactive panel discussion. Fridays at 1 p.m. Brought to you by the Austin Federation of Musicians and with the Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee. The Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee are members of the Austin Federation of Musicians, Local 433 of the American Federation of Musicians, aka the Musicians Union. Some of us work as contractor 1099 workers, and others work as employee W-2 workers in various aspects of the music industry.
The goal of this session is to share our experiences, including trials and tribulations related to the Texas Workforce Commission, or TWC, with other musicians in the state of Texas to aid in navigating the TWC application process. We are not experts in unemployment assistance. We are musicians.
The information contained herein does not constitute either legal advice or an official pronouncement or a position of the Austin Federation of Musicians, but rather is only the personal opinions of the panelists. The panelists do not give legal advice or make official rulings on agency matters, should not be cited as authorities in any matter before the agency or when dealing with agency staff about a case, and must minimize their involvement with administrative processes. They also do not give legal advice on any other matter, and any information they should give should not be used as a basis for taking any employment-related action. Before taking any employment action that could adversely affect an employee, or before using any sample form or policy you may obtain from this group, you should consult a licensed private sector employment law attorney of your choice. All right, welcome back. This is Navigating Texas Workforce Commission for Musicians for March 5th, 2021, the sequel to 2020. Man, and Russell's joining me today. Yeah, hello, Russell.
Guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, we always go through our websites. If you're new to unemployment assistance or the Texas Workforce Commission, like you might be, God bless you. Welcome to the party, I suppose. Yeah, we always put out these websites here at the top because these are the best places to get the most current information. And of course, the first one is always the TWC website itself, twc.texas.gov. Always has the most up-to-date stuff. Can be a little hard to find, but they also have their Facebook page, the Texas Workforce Commission Facebook page, and I think they still do a press conference every other day on that Facebook page with news and things like that. We also have our local unions, Local 433 Musicians Unemployment Information Sharing page on Facebook. That's a great thing to follow, because we just try to put links to all the relevant new stuff that comes out. There's also the COVID-19 resources page on our local unions webpage, which is afm433.com/COVID-19. And of course, we always promote the Who Represents Me website for Texas, which is wrm.capitol.texas.gov, and that's how you can find out who your representative is in the Texas legislature and in the federal legislatures, and also I think the state school board as well. And that's stuff you need to know increasingly. Yeah. We always start out with beverages. I'm doing coffee as usual. Are you drinking anything there, Russell?
Spring water. Ozark or spring water.
Beautiful. There you go. The beverage of
ain't
life.
Broke, don't fix it.
Yep, that's right. And at least we got it. At least we have water again.
Right.
Man, a couple weeks ago, it was a little bit in doubt, but we've got it back.
To boil snow water.
Man, yeah, rough. It got rough down here. Yeah, ways we didn't really even imagine before,
right.
But we can imagine it now. It's fresh in our memory. Yeah.
Well, no, but I got it on film for posterity.
That's
Anybody
right.
that wants to see it.
The film
really happened.
Yep. Yes. Oh man. Yeah, I think I built a snowman in the backyard. You can't usually do that.
Yeah.
And I took pictures too.
So yeah, it really happened.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Oh man. Well, as far as unemployment news and related to the storm from a few weeks ago, the requirements to obtain unemployment benefits were suspended for those 2 weeks. So they got rid of specifically the waiting week that you would normally have before your benefits would start, and that was helpful. So if you were just starting then, or you're starting now for that time, that's possible too. You don't have to do the waiting week. But the most important thing is that they suspended the work search requirements, which don't affect us as much as union members, because we have a hiring, what's called a hiring hall, that's always looking for work on our behalf. But if you're not a union member, you have to do these work search requirements. But those were suspended for those 2 weeks when everybody did have power and water and the roads were icy and people were snowboarding downtown and all kinds of stuff. So yeah. So you may be in a situation where you're applying for unemployment for those 2 weeks, and that's important to know. So yeah, man. But yeah, as far as new news that there's just still no news yet on the new stimulus package, right, in the Senate,
Well,
right?
actually, there is.
Okay, what do you got?
They attempted to stall it out, which is kind of a punk move, but they wanted them to read the entire 600
Yes.
pages.
Yeah,
So they went and got these 2 speed readers, and 600 pages gone.
really.
They outflanked them.
How fast did they read it? Do you know?
You know those commercials where the guys,
Yeah.
yep, that speed.
Wow.
And it looks like it's going to be 50-50 with the vice president again casting the deciding vote. So it's going to pass.
Mm-hmm.
Help is on the way.
Well, good. Yeah, and of course, there's all kinds of things in there. We've been really interested in the pension legislation that's in there, because that's stuff that our union has been trying to get passed for 5 or 6 years now. And not just our union, actually many unions were working together on this pension legislation. And I mean, unfortunately, it's taken this crisis for it to get so bad where everybody sees like, oh yeah, we actually have to do this. But unfortunately, there's still a lot of Republican opposition to that, and to the whole package. But
concessions were made. The $15 an hour looks like it won't be part of the bill, which they have to go more toward the Bernie Sanders plan, which gradually phases it in.
Yeah, well, and that was the plan that was in the bill, was to gradually phase it in. But yeah, I think it had to do with the parliamentarian of the Senate. Yeah, said
they went and found the technicalities and can block this.
Yeah, even though that is something that also needs to happen really bad. Yeah, but it could be some of our people, in the music business, could really benefit from, or will benefit from the COBRA subsidy that is in there, right? That's if you have insurance from a previous employer that you're still paying on. It can be very, very expensive when you're not part of that group with your old employer. All of a sudden, to get the same insurance, they'll give it to you, but you got to pay for it. And yeah, so there could be help. I think it's like 85% or something of that. That might.
Yeah, you don't really want the COBRA, because that is really just more like catastrophe insurance. I mean, you want to move to like the for lack of a better term, Obamacare or something. That's just because COBRA is just outrageous. I mean, it's just you just can't keep that up.
Yeah.
And they know that, so
yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, so that there could be some relief because there are people that need to stay on that insurance for one reason or another. So yeah, this could help with that. What else is in this bill? There's more. There's another extension of unemployment, more weeks of unemployment that people can take,
and another. I think it's another $300 a week for something. I had read it last night. I thought it was child care or something. There's something in there for child care.
Okay.
And matter of fact, I need to be specific about that. I need to go read that. But
there's a lot in there.
It's a lot. It's a big bill.
Yeah.
But you definitely want to know what's in there and how it affects you, because there are some good things in the bill, and they managed to strip the riders that really bog things down out of there. It's specifically for American people. I mean, it doesn't have any foreign aid in it or whatever, which that's completely useless. That's just guarantees that it won't pass.
Hmm. Yeah,
Because
this
then
is
you'll have
all
Democrats jumping ship.
this is all working people, working
Hmm.
Americans. Yeah, and that's crucial to rebuilding the economy.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Particularly when we we have some parts of the country doing things like what we're doing here, where we're opening up. Right, the governor's uh, repeal of the mask mandate on Tuesday. I think it doesn't go into effect until Wednesday. This
Yeah,
coming
next Wednesday,
Wednesday,
the
but
10th.
yeah, that could. A lot of people think that could lead to a big spike in infections if people really go hog wild with that, as they say.
Well, I'll tell
So,
you where the problem's going to lie is in spring break.
hmm,
They're going to unleash a bunch of, adolescents or juvenile thinkers without masks and without social distancing, and that's going to be like a super spreader, and
yeah,
that's not going to be good.
yeah, and of course in town here we have one of the largest campuses in the entire country.
That's right.
University campus, the University
University
of
of Texas.
Texas,
Hmm.
and that was a huge problem last year. Folks coming back from spring break,
Hmm.
bringing the infection with them, and yeah, yeah, because there's great places to do spring break right in Texas. You don't got to leave Texas. You
You
go to
have to leave
South
Texas,
Padre
right? Stay
Island.
right here. Hmm.
It's that's a great place, but yeah, ooh, it could be could turn into something nasty with that, and yeah, we hope it doesn't, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah,
And, it kind of makes me, a little leery because, they open up the clubs and things. And as a musician, I'm kind of happy because I want to go back and work, but
yeah,
I don't want to put anybody at risk. I don't want people to have to decide between being gravely ill to see me or a band or whatever. That's a choice that you don't need to make. I mean, it's
yeah,
if we can just hold on. I mean, the vaccines are coming,
hmm,
and the herd immunity will be established, and we can just toe the line.
yeah. Yeah, and of course we've been talking about this the whole pandemic. Of course, the
Right.
more times we stumble and fall down, as far as reopening, that's just going to make the process take longer as
Hmm.
far as building the confidence in the audience to come back. Because our audiences aren't going to come back just because they can.
Right.
They're really gonna come back when everybody feels safe, and
Sure.
they're not gonna feel that until everyone is actually safe. And you know, yeah,
And that's for our business as entertainers. I mean, that's what it's going to take.
yep, yeah,
And the
yeah,
more we rush it, the worse it'll be on us when it collapses.
yeah, yeah, and that's why it's important, for musicians to get this kind of help while it's available,
Hmm.
because it is going to take longer for our industry to recover, even after everybody's cool with going out of the house to go to work, going out of the house to get
Sure.
groceries, to get food. Those are all necessities. They're not gonna go into places for entertainment at the same rate until they're much more comfortable. So it's
Right.
gonna take longer. Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. We'll just keep monitoring that situation. That's all we
Yep.
can do, and push back as much as we can. We can have our safety protocols. That does make a difference. Makes people feel better. Our union has protocols for small clubs, venues, recording studios, theaters, and pit musicians. Our orchestras have their safety protocols that are working really
Yeah.
well.
That's the key. Not only have we have the protocols, we've actually done it.
Hmm.
I mean, those Sunday evening shows are a perfect example of how it works.
Yes, yeah,
We've
at our
had we've
union,
had
yeah.
no sickness. We've had
Yes,
no problems,
no transmission. That's right.
no transmissions because
Yep,
we've done it the correct way.
yep. And everybody walks in the door already knowing the deal, already knowing the
Hmm.
protocol, the process. Yeah, yep. And there's room to do it. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we've proven it can be done.
Yep. Over and over again. The
Hmm.
AFM all over the country, all over the United States and Canada, is proven that it can work.
Hmm.
Yep. So yeah, that's a good thing. That helps build that confidence back up.
But
And
then not only that, but I think the musicians who are on the outside looking in, this is what your union can do for you, and
hmm,
you should be a part of this because your voice counts, and the more of us, the quicker we can kind of mandate that this happens, and the sooner we can get back to work.
yes, Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's very important. Yeah. All right. Well, I had a couple of stories, anecdotal things to impart from this week. I talked to two musicians that were both have been watching the broadcast, so thank you for watching the broadcast. And I just wanted to share some information from them anonymously, without identifying them, obviously. But it's interesting, to let people know about some of this stuff. So, yeah, we had one musician who had been in touch with the program before and was able to get on unemployment, I think, during the summer last year or something like that, and got their their assistance adjusted as a result of some of the union connections. And But what happened was it took so long that whoever they were talking to at the TWC said, "Oh, I'm going to do you a favor, and I'm going to backdate your unemployment assistance," and which that happened for a lot of folks, a lot of musicians, right? Because we all stopped about the middle of April. But this person had their assistance backdated all the way to March 1st. And most people I've been talking to, it's like March 8th or March 14th or March 24th, But this person went all the way back to March 1st, which that's great. They got some more assistance, but the result was that in December they ran out of weeks before everybody else did, and then they caught up again when it was renewed. But now it's happening again now. Of course, they're running out of weeks before everybody else does. And that's it's really coming up quick, though. I mean, that's why they got to get this relief bill passed in the Senate, because everybody's waiting on those extra weeks to be added on. So this person, it's happened already a couple of weeks ago. They ran out of weeks, so now they're having to get a hold of somebody at the TWC to figure out what to do about that, so they don't get ejected from the system before the weeks get extended. And that's a challenging thing. And what was interesting is this person was able to get a hold of someone at the TWC, but that person identified themselves as a contractor, and basically told them, like, I don't have the power to help you with this. All I can do is try to get you in the queue to talk to this other person, and they weren't actually able to do that. Even like that particular time of day or whatever it was, they weren't able to get them in there. They tried several times, and they weren't able to get in touch with anybody that could actually help them. So we went through our channels and through our state senator's office, again with Senator Judy Zaffarini's office has been helping us, a lot of us musicians, out with this. And I think he's getting a call today, that this person's getting a call today about that. So we'll keep you updated about that to see what happened, because there's bound to be many more musicians in that situation where the weeks are running out before everyone else. And what do you do? Because you got to stay in that system.
Exactly.
To continue on. So we'll keep that going. And then we heard from another musician that's been watching some of the broadcasts. And again, thank you for watching and sharing some information. This particular musician was asking if we had any new information about Texas's participation in what's called the MEUC, the mixed earner unemployment. What's the C stand for? Compensation. There we go. Yeah, and that's a program that's from the CARES Act way back in June, whenever that passed. And lots of states, have signed on to it and said, yes, we're going to participate in that. But our state haven't actually figured out how to do it yet. And it's mixed earner unemployment compensation. So it's for folks like a lot of musicians, where they get a little bit on a W-2, a little bit of income on a W-2, and then they get lots of 1099s, and they're also self-employed, and the income is mixed, right? And the first instinct of the unemployment system is to only count the W-2, the traditional employment, because for most people that's bigger, but that's not always the case for us, right? For musicians. And it was a huge disaster. I know initially out in California, there was no taking that into account. Like if you had one W-2 for like one day's work, that was the basis of your entire unemployment, and that was it. It was like, and Terrible. Texas actually did better in this area. They did come up with a way to account for that, but it was very difficult to obtain, and that's actually the early months of this broadcast. That's a lot of what we were dealing with, was the way that Texas was sort of taking that into account. So I think that might be why this is happening, because Texas already has like a little bit of a what do you call it, an accommodation, I guess, for that situation. So it's trying to figure out if this will replace that or if it'll be in addition to it. But it's supposed to be another extra $100 a week if you qualify for this mixed earner compensation. And so people are obviously want to know, how do I get this?
Sure, yeah.
And some states have been able to implement it, and ours has not yet. There's just the confirmation that our state is participating in it, but we haven't seen any info. But if you see some info, you Russell, but of course you the viewer, if you see some info, let us know, because
Sure,
we might have missed it. And of course we want to get our people on that. We don't know if it will be backdated to any particular date. We don't know. All we do know is that the TWC is supposed to notify you if you qualify for it when they get the process in place to do it. And I don't know anybody that's been notified of that. And very few people I've really actually heard talking about it. But we do know other states have been able to figure it out and get that extra $100. And that's good, because these folks that have mixed income, and I'm one of them for sure. The amount that you wind up qualifying for traditional unemployment, it is very small, and so then you have the federal stuff that's put on top that makes it worth it, right? But if you earn a little bit of money, that little bit from the state can disappear, and then you don't get any of the federal money at all. Right. So you have to still make at least $1 of state unemployment before they put the federal bonuses on there. And so so it really can lead to this weird situation where you make a very small amount of money one week, and then it gets rid of that state unemployment, but then so then maybe you only lose $100 or $200 or whatever or less, but then you lose all that federal stuff on top of it, which last summer was an extra $600. Now it's $300. There might be an increase coming up here. I'm not sure, or at least an extension. So that extra $100 really could help out. So anyway, that's just something to keep our eyes on. And thank you to that viewer for getting in touch and checking in on that, because we hadn't talked about it in a while, but we've been keeping our eyes on it, and we hope it's going to start happening pretty soon. But we'll see. Yeah. Have you heard from anybody about that, Russell? About the mixed earner?
I have not. No, I have not.
It's similar to the PEUC, which is Pandemic Employment. No. What does the PEUC stand for? These acronyms are killing me. But Pandemic Unemployment Assistance is the PUA, and then PEUC is Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation. That's what it is. Yeah. So, there's all these different types of aid that some of us are qualifying for, and others not at different times. And of course, your eligibility can change according to what when you're working and all this. So, but it's worth it. It's worth it to keep track of it, even though sometimes it can be overwhelming. But this is going to take longer for us,
right?
Than the average industry. So, we got to do it. All right. Well, you hear anything else in the news, Russell? Any other issues come up?
The thing about the stimulus bill that is important is that there will be provisions for back rent and back mortgage.
Oh,
which will keep these people off your back from being evicted.
Yes. Yeah. And of course that's the real solution to the eviction moratorium, right? I mean, it's one thing to just say, you can't evict this person, but if the rent is still stacking up and up and up and up and up and up, you're not really helping them to not get evicted.
They can't afford to be there. Yeah,
it's just delaying the inevitable. But this actually would help, and it helps the landlords too.
Sure.
Which is important.
It's good all the way around.
Yeah,
it's sound policy to do this, and I remember reading that in the bill, thinking, "Oh, that's going to be great."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's really good. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. And then we were talking about in the pre-show. We were talking about the Texas judge challenging the eviction moratorium itself, and that seems to have kind of fizzled out now, right?
Yeah, it seems that they've kind of heard him, and he's kind of did his saber rattling, and then okay, let's get back to business now.
And hopefully,
you got things to do, and we do too. So
yeah, and let's do the right thing here, and keep people in their houses.
Well, it's good for the landlords. I mean,
yep.
You know that eventually that's going to work itself out if you can be patient, and I know they have mortgages as well. So
yes, yeah, and finding a new tenant during all this is not easy.
It's
either.
tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yep. Yeah. So. Yep. Yeah. There's ways we can help out everybody if we just think about it the right way and talk about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we want to do. Yeah. Definitely. All right. Well. Yeah. Any music work coming back for you right now?
I am becoming encouraged. I mean, I got a call for a gig late in March.
All right.
And that hasn't happened for a while. I mean,
yeah.
So, we'll see if things are moving back to or sort of heading in that direction. And I think those vaccines will definitely aid in some confidence so people feel like, okay, we can do this. Although the gig is outside and, there'll still be social distancing and masks being worn, but just the point that the phone is starting to ring now. That hadn't happened in a while.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and we're blessed with the climate we have down here. We're going to be able to do outdoor things much earlier than the rest of the country, and that's great. So, yeah, right on. Yeah, I similar, right at the end of March. I've got some calls that look like they might happen, and and the same thing, outdoors. Let's do it. Let's see if we can do it, and yeah, so just make sure you got your contract and you're protected, and that's all we can do, and try to get out there and inspire confidence, do it the right way. Yep. Yeah. So.
And it can work. We've proven that.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So right on. Okay. Well, is there anything else to discuss this week? I don't have anything else.
I think that's it for me.
Right on. Okay. Well,
I'll let it all go.
Yes, we left it all on the court. Yeah. Right on.
Yep.
Well, you viewing at home, of course, or wherever you are, if you're in the music industry, don't give up. We can do this. We're starting to get through this thing. It is going to take a while, but we can do it together by sharing information and doing the right things according to science and everything else. No matter what happens outside of our control, we are coming back, and we have to come back. Don't give up, and we'll be here next week talking about whatever's going on with the recovery of the music industry. So take care, and thank you for joining me, Russell.
Sure. The business music continues.
Yes, it does. We'll see you next week.